LS watched Jay's coaching game and disagreed with a lot of it. I'm not surprised. I don't really coach I don't really coach on things. I coach a very practical, like I play a very practical League of Legends, not a very theoretical League of Legends at all. And I'm not about thinking out every single situation and like if you think in a competitive game, any given player is considering all the things that are possible in League of Legends to make the best decision possible, you're fucking stupid. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the things that LS is considering, no pro player is going on stage and thinking these things. They are busy thinking about their own champion and their own decisions in their own in the current situation, and maybe they need to be able to think the things that the LS is trying to teach in the moment. But I'm telling you right now, there are almost no pro players at that level. So for me, what I do is I focus on how to create opportunities to group with your team and make plays with your team, because at the end of the day, numbers is how you win in League of Legends competitive play. And what do you do when you're grouped, and how do you do it? This is what I focus on. This has been the focus of pro play for literally the entirety of pro play. Like, it's never been different, and it's absolutely okay for us to disagree. I'm just telling you what worked in my career and what I've done in order to come to these conclusions, right? How I've set up my perspective, and I would say I've had a pretty successful career in competitive play doing this. Am I the best player in the world? By no means. Am I saying my coaching is the way to win at any given point? No, I'm sharing my opinion. It is how I see the game, and I have a very practical approach to the game. I create opportunities to group with my teammates and attack champions that are weak on the map. That's what I do. Is it the most thought out strategy? Absolutely not. It does not take into account everything. It takes into account my champion, my lane opponent, and whether I can be somewhere or not, and how to... Basically, I consider mostly what I can do and what my direct counterpart can do, and how I can attack that up. Like, how can I stop his influence and spread my influence? That's what I focus on. That's what I teach. I will not teach you how to, play macro gameplay from a RTS perspective, which I do think is very smart. And don't get me wrong, I love that LS has that perspective, because it's one I don't have, which is one of the reasons why I would love to work with him and actually get into the nitty gritty so I can understand his perspective better. But I do not coach League of Legends from an RTS perspective. I coach League of Legends perspective from one player and how one player can spread his influence on the map and stop the influence of his direct opponent. So yeah. I very much think he has a much more RTS heavy perspective, which is honestly very healthy, I think. I think it's a very good way of looking at League. LS's perspective. I mean, that's my opinion of his perspective anyway, and I think it's very smart. Is it worth to die for a Mark playing Kindred? I'd say never, but yeah, I don't know. I don't play Kindred. You have to tell that for yourself. I would say it's never worth it to die. RTS, real-time strategy game, like StarCraft. Basically, assume League of Legends is played by one guy controlling all 5 characters, and he's making decisions to win the game. So that can mean, like, for example, actually there's a post from Berserker, right, complaining, I guess, I don't know if it's complaining, but I'm going to show you the post, right? I took it as complaining here. Berserker on LS's time as a coach, and I'm not going to watch the video, I'm just going to watch the comments because this is what it. Yeah, see, they describe the draft, right? And a quote like, imagine having Udyr Kassadin mid jungle every game. And my point is, like, as a bot laner, it can feel really bad to have Udyr Kassadin mid jungle because you have no ability to have any agency in the game, right? However, as an RTS player, right, so someone that views the game from a third person point of view, and you're just looking from above, and you're controlling the characters, it makes a ton of sense to have people eat shit so that 2 big characters can carry the game, right? So I don't know how StarCraft works or anything, but I do know that there are different ways to build different units, and some of your units are built to kill the enemy base and win the game, and some of your units are built to get to the point that you can get those units, right? So for example, a scouting type unit you would build early to get information for yourself so that you can get to the stage of building those game-winning units eventually. And what I'm saying is these would be the game-winning units, and then your other units would be there to support those units that win you the game. And this is the current mentality in pro play, and why a lot of people disagree with him, because when you play the game, it feels terrible to have to wait for these game-winning units to show up and win you the game. Right? Because you're just constantly getting pressured, you might be down kills, you would likely be down CS, etc. But his argument is that the value that Malphite, for example, would bring in a losing lane to support those game-winning units, like Kassadin scaling in certain situations, I'm just saying in certain situations, Kassadin can be that guy, sometimes it can be Udyr, right? Sometimes that's Gangplank. My point is That's LS's point of view on things, and I don't think that's wrong, and I'm not surprised he disagrees with my coaching. But this is very much the idea, I believe. I'd actually love to have a discussion with him on this. I think it's great content, and it's just also it would help me understand him better. But what I'm saying is this is how I perceive it. I'm not saying this is the truth. I haven't talked with him ever actually about this. But the point is the way I see it is like, if I played more StarCraft, maybe I could give you guys specifics. But the point is like, if you're playing, like, let's actually look at StarCraft. If you, not game side, actually wiki. If you're playing, I'm going to use Terran as a race here. I'm going to see if I can actually see the units here. But I can immediately, like, I haven't even played this, but, like, I can tell you right now, actually, they're all just showing up. But my point is like, one of these units are going to win you the game, right? Like, you're going to focus on building a unit to win you the game, right? I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's Marines or Battlecruiser or whatever you fucking build to win you the game. But the point is, one of these units you're going to build to win you the game. And a lot of these units you're going to build to support that unit to build you the game. And what I'm saying is, LS's drafting is very much about supporting that unit that's going to win you the game and building a comp that gets that unit to that point and then still is useful, right? So let's say battle cruisers are going to win you the game. LS drafts champions that are strong enough in order to be useful, right? Let's say Valkyries are early game units. He's going to make sure that he's not going to waste his time, like, drafting champions that are only useful early game. He will draft champions that are strong enough to stay afloat early game, and then after they've stayed afloat early game and the battle cruiser is online, those are going to support the battle cruiser in carrying the game. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong. That's how I've always understood his type of drafting, right? And why, for example, he doesn't mind, like, in his perspective, like a Malzahar that is down 60 CS and a level is still going to be more meaningful than the enemy having a LeBlanc in the context of Malzahar exists in the game, so his carry, like a Kindred, is never going to be threatened by the LeBlanc. That's what I think. That's the way I understand his coaching and understand his perspective on the game. I think it is very interesting, but that's not what I do. So, anyway, that's going to be it for me. I appreciate you all joining in on the stream. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Or night. Bye-bye. Have a good night. See you.